Hey family, welcome to Phie.Love Intuitive Conversations. I hope you guys are good. If you like my content, please do like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, if there's any negativity, please keep that on your side of the street, okay? So, family, in this video, I'm being guided by Spirit to get into the topic around grace. What do you mean, Phie? Well, from the perspective today, I'm taking it from we sometimes find ourselves in situations because we act unconsciously. We're programmed by our outside world to be reactive. We're programmed by our outside world to react negatively, to react emotionally, to react impulsively, to react in a way that makes us feel like if we've been wronged, or if we are in a place of envy, jealousy, hate, resentment, get back, getting even, it's the same thing, right? The moment we cause action, or create action out of ourselves, outside of those emotions, outside of those spaces that we go through internally, and don't take a moment to consider how exactly we're going to act out, how exactly we're going to soothe the imbalance we have within ourselves because of how we might be feeling towards another individual. And you put the next person, as an example, into a situation that you yourself would never want to be in. Put the next person into a situation that you yourself know or don't even know how the hell you would come out of. But do that as a means to soothe yourself. And you do it and you feel soothed and you feel accomplished afterwards because you've left another individual in pain, because you feel like you've put somebody into a position that makes you feel on a higher level or platform internally in your mind, regardless of whether that is really what it is in the reality. But in most cases it isn't. If you've left somebody hurting, if you've left somebody in a negative space, if you've left somebody in some sort of deficit to positivity, if you've put somebody into a place of lack in any sort of way because of your momentary emotions, because of your need for instant gratification, because of your ego, because of your need for power, you have some time, you have grace, you have a period of grace ahead of you after your actions, right? But most times, because of how we're programmed by society and layered with a whole bunch of bullshit that is, anti-life, anti-human, anti-peace, anti-cooperation, anti-non-judgment, anti all those things that, turn humans against each other as well as themselves. Whenever we act out of those negative places, we're given a period of grace. We're given a period of grace to make it right. We're given a period of grace to balance things out. A period of grace to recognize that we might have behaved or acted or reacted out of a place that might have been lesser than what you truly, as a being of the Most High, needed to behave or act out of. So we say, why wait until you have to ask for grace and then feel like a victim when it's time for the scales to be balanced, when your future comes along and your moment of reckoning. It's such a dramatic word, right? Moment of reckoning. But I mean, it's the truth. It's a moment of reckoning comes and you're put into a really shitty place, a really shitty situation. The moment you act in that sort of way towards somebody, in some places the terminology will be, they call it karma, right? When that time comes, that's when people want to ask for grace, but completely unaware that the moment they acted was the moment they set off the chain of sequence. Well, there's like a trigger that happens that starts aligning you, your path, and your decisions unconsciously. We're unconscious about these things because we're not made to go within and to take a higher perspective on our lives and how every decision and every choice puts us on a certain path. There's always one of two choices we can choose in any circumstance, right? Sometimes one of three choices: to act, to not act. To try it out, to think it through. There's always a choice. There's always, a choice to be made, a thought to be given before the action. But if you're in a state of or belief system or in a pattern of, or grooming as well to react, then we don't actually consider the fact that we all have time, we all have a moment to pause and think, well, how would this really turn out for me? Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I'm feeling resentment. I'm feeling rage. I'm feeling jealous. I'm feeling envious. Again, jealousy is what? Jealousy is wanting what someone else has. And envy is wanting someone else to not have what they have and believing that you should have it. We need to also recognize within ourselves when we're going through these two things, when we're engaging people, when we're, verbally or just watching them, or however it is, when we come into engagement with certain energies, we need to be aware and recognize, how am I feeling inside about this? If you're feeling negatively, if you're feeling reactive, if you're feeling like you need to go and speak down on somebody, if you're feeling like you need to take some sort of action to put someone in a place that you believe they should be in because of how you're feeling inside, all of these things accumulate and trigger certain things in the universe that start aligning our decisions and our sequence of events towards the lesson that we need to learn. And there will always be an angel on your shoulder, a feeling, a thought brought to your mind, reminding you of what you have done to cause an imbalance, reminding you that in some way, shape, or form, you're on your way to a lesson. We all know when we've done something wrong, but whether our egos are too high, whether our level of unawareness is, too strong or too intense. That will determine how aware we are of the nudgings and of the inner voice that says, that wasn't right. If you know you're doing something to somebody from a negative place that would hurt you if it was done to you, where if it was done to you, you would have to ask, well, what was that person thinking? Why would they do something like that? That hurt. I thought differently of this person. That made me angry. If you're doing that to somebody else, putting someone else in that position, knowingly, and you're reacting and acting out of a very bad place, well, let me not say very bad, I mean, how is it very bad if it's something that maybe needs to happen so you can learn the lesson to move into the positive side of that spectrum, right? I guess it all depends on how you look at it. But why wait until you have to ask for grace when you're in the place? How am I going to say this? Why ask for grace after you've been given the grace? We're always given the grace. We're always given the warnings. Something to think about, huh? If you've done things wrong, if you've engaged in actions that require you to learn a lesson, hurting people, creating negativity in the universe against yourself, simple things like eating unhealthy, those are imbalances too that come with their karma or their balancing time in your future. Through sickness, through all those kinds of things that then give you difficulties to, for you to learn and understand that, I really shouldn't have done A, B, and C in the past. You steal from somebody, you put someone into a bad financial position, you do all kinds of things that may hurt another person. Best believe that in your future, the universe has, at that moment you've caused pain on someone else, the moment you've put somebody else in a place of lack, immediately the universe starts arranging your life in a way that leads you to that very same lesson. And it will be arranged in a way to make sure that you feel it and that you learn the lesson, and it'll be in your perspective at the most inconvenient time. The most inconvenient time. But it's designed that way. So, how can we be a little bit more aware and cognizant around our own lives and our decisions, and recognizing when we're actually in our period of grace? If you sit with yourself right now and think about your past, think about how you might have wronged somebody, how you might have acted out of turn, where you're living in a space of unforgiveness, where you're in unconscious anger and hurt and, speaking down on people, having negative thoughts towards people, gossiping, having people's names in your mouth, whatever those things are that might cause imbalances in the universe and in the energy. Think about them. Pray about them. Ask your higher self. Ask the Most High. Ask Allah. Ask to be shown. Ask for these things to be brought to your mind. Ask to be shown, well, where am I being led into lessons right now that I maybe didn't think would have, might come for rectifying in my future? Where is my behavior? Where am I, unconsciously behaving in a way that shows I'm not recognizing I'm in a time of grace? Where have I been reactive? Where have I caused harm? Because yes, in your future, you will have to go through what you've put somebody else through. And when that time comes, generally we can't ask the universe to have mercy on us, because our mercy was the entire time before the balancing came. It was in your hands that entire time of grace to bring a balance to the situation. It might require you to humble yourself. It might require you to give an apology. It might require you to pay something back. It might require you to sit with yourself, journal with yourself, have the conversations with your higher self, and, recognize where you've been wrong. Recognize where you've been out of balance. It might require you to take a new look at your diet. Take a new look at the way you're drinking. Take a look at the kinds of people you're engaging with. Energies and things that you get yourself mixed up in. Have you been engaging in corrupt activities? Best believe the universe is the universe allows it. As far as you need to learn the lesson, they'll allow it to get to a point of complete imbalance, and before you know it, you'll get caught. You'll find yourself in a court situation and have a perfectly designed, ruthless judge right there for you. A useless, incompetent lawyer. The universe will bring the balancing. Consequences to actions, the lessons, so that when you come out of it, you are able to sit with yourself and be like, wow, I really should not have done what I've done. And when the universe gets involved, the universe makes sure it doesn't happen again. Yes. And again, once you've passed that, once you've learned the lesson, the universe has done its job, and you have evolved to a new level, honey. You have grown, you have learned a lesson, you have shed something off that you struggled maybe even for lifetimes to get over, to let go of. You have found some sort of compassion that maybe you didn't have before. You have found some level of awareness that now in your future, you know what you're going to think 2, 3, or 4, or even 5 times before you make a certain decision that may, lead you to a path of some extreme difficulty in your life. And the lessons will come through the people you love. The lessons will come through your finances. The lessons will come through your children. And the lessons can come in ways that are of the highest amount of pain, if that is what is required. Believe the Most High and the universe have time. You're the one who's been groomed to believe that you don't. So, don't put people into positions. Don't be reactive. Okay, take time to think about how your words, how your actions, how your decisions, what kind of situation will they put you into, even if just for the moment right now, and for the next month or 2 or 3 years, foreseeable future. It'll bring some kind of balance to you, some kind of soothing. Still think about, if this was to come back on me, if this ends up being a lesson that I will need to learn because I've put somebody in lack, and I've decided to take revenge into my hands. I've decided to take God's job on. I've decided to take the job of the universe, the job of balancing, the job of teaching lessons. the job of get back, however it is, into my own hands. What kind of repercussion or situation might that put me into in my future? Have I been engaging in corrupt activities, forgery, paying people off, all kinds of things for too long? What if the day comes that I pay off the wrong person? What if the day comes that I have sex with one too many people, that after that my life is over? I'm sick. I've engaged with somebody who has other people around them that are not too kosher, and that's how the universe is, teaching me my lesson. Getting involved in a bad situation for a moment of pleasure that I, got into a cycle in. There's always time of grace. There's always time that the universe will give us to recognize our ways, to recognize where we're acting in excess, to recognize where we are too reactive, to recognize where we're in our ego, to recognize where we're going into action because of how we want to be viewed, or think the outside world is going to view us for a moment, regardless of the position it puts someone else in or your own personal temple. Take time to think about where you've caused imbalance in the past to yourself and others, and sit and think about how you can bring balance, where you can forgive, where you can give someone else grace, where you can allow someone else's actions to be between them and God, and recognize that, if someone does something towards you 10 out of 10 times, there's something that's imbalanced within them, and you don't need to accumulate that karma by meeting them on their level, because that means that you're setting yourself up for future difficulty that you perceive now or will have to perceive in the future, and not even realize that your life is being unconsciously, etherically and energetically aligned now. You've now moved your trajectory into a way that says this soul over here has a lesson that it needs to learn. So, before you get back over here, we're going to now kind of guide your decisions towards this lesson, and we're going to pull in the right people who will be able to, at some point in your future, on your path, be able to teach you that lesson, and then you can get back onto the path that you in the past thought that you wanted to be on. When in most cases, once you learn your lesson, you change and you want something completely new, but that's for a whole other video, right? So yeah, family, just recognize your grace. Recognize when the Most High and the universe has you in your period of grace, and don't wait until you're in a bad situation having to ask for grace, because then you'll be told we gave you grace. You just didn't want to recognize it. So yeah, I'm going to pull a card now from, again, our Ascendant Masters deck, because we're all ascending, right? Making better choices and decisions for ourselves. Okay, let's see what Spirit has for us to support the video, or to, who knows, give someone who's watching the video a nudge in a direction, right? Some support or whatever it may be. Choose peace. Choose peace. Okay, don't be reactive. Be peaceful. You have time to think about whatever choices you make always. And if it's a choice that's to the negative, if it's a choice to soothe the negative feeling, choose peace. Don't accumulate karma. Don't set yourself up for a moment of soothing, a moment of pleasure, for lessons that will be really difficult in your future. Don't put people into situations because of your lack of peace that you yourself would not want to be in or think that you wouldn't be able to get out of. Don't wish on other people things that you wouldn't want yourself to go through or that you wouldn't be able to go through. Okay? It's cruel. It is. Anyway, let me see what the book has to say. Choose Peace by the Ascended Masters, Paramansa Yogananda. Okay. Oh, Kriya Yoga Master. Look, choose peace. Let's see. The card, what the book says. In this situation, choose the path of peace. As you think about your various options and possible outcomes, thank you, Spirit, which brings the greatest feeling of peace to your body and mind. This is your answer. Additional meanings for this card. Listen to your heart's truth. There is always a peaceful alternative to conflict. Your peacefulness elevates your energy and helps you to manifest your desires. Meditate and do yoga as a way of attaining inner peace. Card aligned perfectly. Thank you. So, yeah, family, I hope this has sat well with you. I hope, it got us thinking and doing a little bit of inner work, even just for these few moments that we've had this conversation. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye.